What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, listen, it's reported that Anthony Joshua has accepted the terms of Tyson Fury. We know they have the 60-40 split, and that if Anthony Joshua should win, there will be a rematch, and basically it will be a 50-50 split at that point. We know that because the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, that put everything on hold. So, pretty much all negotiations just is postponed. But we get this information, we get this word this morning. So I touched on this before. Now, my thing, like I said, if he takes the fight, so be it. He's in control of what he does. Initially, he wanted to fight, they said in December and in March, and it wasn't a date given for March, but December 17th was the date that he wanted for December. And then there was also talks about him doing a tour of China and fighting Zili Zhang. And, this was, again, refining, kind of rebuilding. So Anthony Joshua taking this fight, I always saluted him for taking fights because he always welcomes the challenge. So when he says I'll fight anybody, um, of course he's a fighter as well. Whereas management, a lot of times have to be the voice of reason. Now, if he feels ready, point is he accepted. So he's, if he feels ready, that's one thing. If it's a pride situation with AJ, of him feeling like I don't want people to think I'm ducking Tyson Fury, so I'm going to take the fight because I'm a lion. This is what I do. He needs this win. He really needs to win. Um, Fury can afford a loss. This would only be his first one. And basically, he'd have a second chance at getting his title back if he did lose. Now, for Anthony Joshua, if he does lose this fight, then there's no rematch, and pretty much maybe he goes and does his tour that he was initially going to do. The problem with wearing your heart on your sleeve is when you have more heart than brains. I don't know if this is the situation. I don't know how motivated he feels. I don't know if he feels more confident that he can beat Fury than he does against Usyk. I have never ever heard him speak of Fury with the type of respect that he speaks of with Usyk. I've heard him say he'll smash Tyson Fury. He wants to fight him. Fury was mouthing and they going back and forth, and I have never heard him talk confidently about beating Usyk. You know, everybody could hear it and see it. You know, so initially they were talking about Principality Stadium in Cardiff, so that's probably where it's going to be. So obviously the Zone and BT Sports are going to work together on this one, but at the end of the day, I'm listen and like let me say this: I never take anything personal that these fighters, their career, it's their lives. I just give my views and I give my opinions on what I think based on what I see and hear, or what I don't take it personal. It's not me in there, okay? And people ask you questions about what you would do if you were in the situation. Well, if I'm saying what I think the fighter should do, that's what I would do. And also, you got to understand what goes on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. All of these things come into play. So, exactly um, what what is going on, and how a person is vibing and how they feel about situations. I'm not those individuals, but this is a situation where clearly you have to use common sense. Like, look, two back-to-back losses, a meltdown just happened a couple of weeks ago. more than likely not where he needs to be mentally. You know, people are looking at the physical aspect saying, yeah, but he's in fight shape. He just came back. Yeah, he just fought, Right. No one said he's not in fight shape. You know, obviously he is. Like he just fought 12 rounds. Duh. Right. Okay. The whole point is being mentally ready. Look, let me tell you guys something about principles. Okay. Because based on the questions you guys ask and the comments you make, it's like you overlook these things. You tell a child, don't be a thief. Don't be a liar. Okay, don't go out there and be a whore. Don't go out there and be a gigolo. Don't right you and you give them you explain to them. You're practicing these things now at a young age. Old habits are hard to break for most people. So if you're a thief now, you'll be a thief when you get older. Now, not that people can't outgrow it and mature. Of course, a lot of people do, but a whole lot of people don't. Why do you think we have so many damn criminals in the world? Okay, it's not like these people were model citizens and all of a sudden one day they just decided I want to become a scumbag. No, they always had it in them. A lot of people get caught, for the first time, but it could have been years they've been doing these things. Same thing in business. Okay, do you guys not understand what's right in front of your face? Like when you hear Tyson Fury, I'm not the businessman. I'm a fighter. I don't deal with all of that. I'm a businessman. But he was the one talking 60-40 and talking what the terms was. But he's not a businessman. But when AJ is speaking and talking what the terms are, he's a businessman. I'm a fighter. It's said to belittle him. But how quick things change. It's okay for you to do it. Okay, so when I make analogies to make my points clear, there's no need to ask questions. Just listen to what the hell I'm saying. No different from, like I said, De La Hoya saying Floyd is tainting his legacy by fighting exhibitions when the man is retired. And fighting Conor McGregor is tainting his legacy. I know, 300 million, right? Tainted legacy. Nobody had interest in that fight. I hear you, Oscar. And then turns right around in the same interview, and it said that at Canelo, it was rumored that Canelo, Conor wanted to fight Canelo. We could make the fight, as I stated before. Yeah, we could make the fight. What happened to tainting your legacy? Floyd is retired. Conor, Canelo is an active fighter. So how is Floyd tainted anything? Okay, let me show you the hypocrisy. Did anybody say that Randy Couture was tainting his legacy when he fought James Toney in a cage? And Tony had no previous octagon experience. He wasn't a fight, so it's okay. So if the MMA fighter fights a boxer in an octagon, they're not tainting their legacy because you just beat up a guy that basically knows nothing. Okay? Nothing about fighting in the cage. But yet a boxer is tainting his legacy by fighting an MMA guy in a boxing ring. Like, did Muhammad Ali taint his legacy when he was in there with Antonio Inoki? Did Muhammad Ali taint his legacy when he was in there wrestling with Gorilla Monsoon? So all of this nonsense, jealousy, envy, that's all that was. So saying one thing and then contradicting yourself, it's one thing to make a mistake. Like if I sit here and say the fight's May 2nd, but it's May 3rd, and one of you, but you just said May 2nd. So what if I did, idiot? Don't your common sense know that the fight's May 3rd? Duh. Like that little childish nonsense. So bottom line is this. From a fighter standpoint, you want that smoke. Okay? If only Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence had this same type of desire, huh? And they're both undefeated. If only one if they had this desire to get in there. Well, part of that problem is if you're doing this for out of pride's sake, but you're not really where you need to be mentally or physically, even if you're there physically but not mentally, you accepted the challenge. So whatever happens, it's on you. It's okay. So win, lose, or draw, you get credit for taking the fight. But everybody remembers who won. I always say, when you look in the history books, it's not going to say Anthony Joshua lost, but we have to give him all the credit in the world. He came off 2 back-to-back losses. He has the heart of a lion. All the record book is going to say, Fury wins, AJ loses. Should that be the case? Now, as far as how the fight's going to go, I don't care about trying to analyze the fight and how I think it's going to go or what AJ has to do, what Fury. We've already been through this a million times. So it is what it is. We're going to see what's going to happen when the fight happens. Anthony Joshua is somewhat at a crossroads in the sense that, and I say somewhat because most people don't think he'll beat Fury anyway. He can't go in there thinking like that though. He has to go in there knowing he's going to win. That's what he can't go in there tell like he has to pray. He can't go in there talking all this nonsense about he'll lose or it's possible he will lose. No, no. And it's not about, trash talking. It's you can't accept defeat and then expect to win. Simple. So for Fury knows what he's doing. And basically he got it, he's getting his wish. Somewhat. We don't know. Possibly he's getting his wish. And what I mean by that is, yeah, he we know he doesn't want AJ 100%. We knows that. So we'll see where AJ, what he has, where he stands once he gets in there. I did a video about Anthony Joshua, and pretty much just showed some clips of how, when he was really relentless and before his confidence was shattered. I know some of you, I know you don't mean any harm, but like people, y'all got to start paying attention. Like, to say, yes, Anthony Joshua looked more explosive, and more confident, but at the same time, it was different opponents. Like, don't you think I'm aware of that? What did I title the video? What's the title of the video? Let's take a look at Anthony Joshua when he was fierce and supremely confident. Why do you think I made the video? Like, am I not aware? Did I not? And I even say it in the video. Okay? No, this is not the best competition. And I also say what? This is Anthony Joshua being green. This is a green Anthony Joshua that looks far better than he does now. And basically the things that he had to tweak, things that you can add to your arsenal, because there's always something you can add. Basically, Anthony Joshua was as deadly as any heavyweight that was in boxing at that time. He was already, mind you, when he fought Vlad, that was what, his 16th fight? Or 16th or 17th fight? So he was still green. When I say green doesn't mean you're trash. Oh, you're far from right. No, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. It just means there's certain things you see that he's going to improve on as through time. At least that's the way it seems. And yeah, of course the competition, of course the level of competition changed. I say it even in the video. Okay, and the level of competition changed as it went up. Okay. Bottom line, y'all, is he's going to fight Fury, and I'm looking forward to the fight because it's on. If it wasn't going to happen, then it wasn't. The fact that it is happening, fine. But for me, what I was explaining earlier too, I don't think I even finished my point because I'm like in mid thought. My mind is all over the place right now. The point is, when you do something that's underhanded, when you try to get an advantage, like I said in the last video, that's not the way of a warrior. The warrior want you 100% fair and square. Let's go. Me and you, let's go. That's what that is. This is not I like, for me, all the talking trash, I'm this, I'm that, but I need advantages. But I have the wordplay to mesmerize everybody to where they don't even see what I'm trying to do. So for those that see it, when you speak on it, those who don't see it don't know what you're talking about. Oh, y'all just hating on Fury. Oh, you doesn't matter who's doing it. If it was Anthony Joshua doing it, I'd be saying the same thing. Anthony Joshua is full of shit. He's saying one thing and doing something else. It's not about favoritism. Okay? The simple thing is, when you're trying to be, trying to do things in the noble way, but you're trying to be noble with an opportunist, yeah, you're going to end up like, you know what, I should have knew better. And everybody that would say, look, every time they did negotiations with Fury, what do you hear people saying? Anthony Joshua and her need to just forget Fury. Why? because Fury says one thing and then he does another. But then he'll turn around just like Wilder and say, AJ and Aaron are full of shit. They don't want to fight me. This, that, and the third. And when you ask, well, what happened? What do you mean? What did they? The bottom line is this: I can beat any heavyweight. There's no one I won't beat. I'll fight this guy, and twice on Sunday, and blah blah blah. But they never say what they're lying about. How they say one thing and do something else. They don't show you receipts. They just make claims because their fanboys are going to follow behind whatever they say. So my whole thing is, when we're talking about these fighters, for me, it's never personal. It's never a time where I'm sitting here going, "Oh man, he shouldn't know," and like I'm complaining about it, like it bothers me. No, I'm just giving you guys the news, and yeah, my I don't have a problem speaking what my views are. I just know that when it comes down to these fights happening, and people get all into the soap opera side of things, who's ducking who and who said what and who did this, and that has no bearing on what's going to happen in the ring. Some fighters can make it worse for themselves because you might piss the other fighter off and he wind up you might fuel him up and he beats you worse than what he would have beat you, stuff like that. But we're fighters and that's what you do. You get in the ring and you fight. I don't care about all the back and forth. Like I've talked about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fighting. There's no need to do a video about them though. At this point, what am I going to be talking about? Like, let's just say if tomorrow Errol Spence says Terrence Crawford's really a coward. I know deep down inside he don't want to fight me. Almost every boxing channel was going to report that. But how many times have we spoke about these guys and nothing still has happened? So basically, this is not even boxing news. This is he said, she said, and it's not an offer for a fight. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. I've done videos about them. And just recently, they went back and forth saying things, and I even heard a rumor, which I'm not even doing a video about unless the fight actually happens. A rumor that Tank Davis has accepted a rematch with Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and I've heard nothing else about it. So I'm not going to make a video about that. So it's not about just sitting here making videos because a fighter says something about another fighter. Now we have to talk about it. Mm-mm. Not on those terms. You want to make a fight happen, you're calling the fighter out, that can be different. But just because you guys are talking and you guys have been talking about fighting each other for a couple of years now, yet nothing. So it's a waste of time. This here is a fight where the AJ fans, a lot of them are crossing their fingers and hoping he can pull out a prayer. That's how they're looking at it. Boxing fans in general don't think Anthony Joshua can win. Anthony Joshua, I really feel like, like I said, he liked being embraced by the people. He liked the fact that he had such a strong following. And then a lot of people started to turn on Anthony Joshua and basically started having a lot of doubters. And I believe that all of the people saying that he's not an elite fighter, he's washed up, he's overrated. That stuff, I've seen certain videos where he expressed that disappointment, that hurt, that anger, because after all of what he's been given to the sport, it's like most people just try to find criticism. They're trying to find a way to put him down. And I guess, yeah, of course he feels like, they don't appreciate what I've done. And pretty much that will make anybody feel a certain way, which is why, like I said, I don't put anybody on that level of where I love you or look at you the way I would my family, So for me, it would be different. My mindset is different, but most people love that. They love the roar of the crowd, the fact that they're cheering for you. You're the guy they want to see win. But when those same fans turn on you, now it's like, wow. Like now you feel like you have something to prove, but you feel abandoned. And I feel like that, even like with him being the gentleman, like I said, and when I say the gentleman thing, I mean, like, bottom line, it's not about talking trash. It's not about yelling, screaming, and insult. No, you could be as big of a gentleman as you can, but when you get in that ring, that's when you need to be vicious. You need to be there. Look, I'm gonna say this, and I'll say it until the day that I die. Evander Holyfield, 206 pounds. The most he's ever weighed in the fight was 217, and that was like later on. Evander Holyfield was in an era of really big heavyweights, and that guy went in there and was slugging with these big giants. Okay, Evander Holyfield, he came in there and I mean, I remember him telling the story about how he was about to quit against Lewis, at one point, but he wound up fighting Lewis twice. Remember that? And he tried. Now I never saw anywhere in the fight where I thought he was going to quit, but I do remember a time where Lennox Lewis was setting up shots and Holyfield was literally lifting his leg up in the air trying to brace for the punch, and I'm sitting there laughing like, Holyfield, what are you doing? So yeah, maybe that was the time when he was going to do it. But bottom line is that guy went in there and he fought, and he fought injured a lot as well. And there was times where he wasn't letting his hands go like he used to, and But this is like a washed up Holyfield. Okay, this is I'm talking way past his prime Holyfield. But Holyfield went in there and went to war with guys, and with losses, you didn't see him going there and have his confidence holding him back to where he just won't go for the kill. This is where Anthony Joshua needs to be. I don't give a shit that, yeah, the competition, of course, the competition got stiffer. But at the same time, be honest with you, this every era of fighters, they have it's certain guys are going to stand out in different weight classes. Um, at the end of the day, most of you guys don't rate Andy Ruiz. And the fact that he fought Andy Ruiz on the back foot, didn't most half of you, more than half of you criticize him for that. So the point, what I'm saying, a confident Anthony Joshua, that Anthony Joshua of the past, he would have been more up for the challenge to knock Andy Ruiz out instead of winning on points. Now, a win is a win, and I don't knock him for what he did because, like I said, he won. He pretty much dominated every single round, cut his eye open and all that. And then you can see he wanted to sit down and just, get him out of there, but he would just played it safe. Whereas before, that killer instinct that he had, yeah, that Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, the green Anthony Joshua beats Andy Ruiz. And even if he doesn't knock him out, he probably gets the stoppage. The ref comes in and, because that Anthony Joshua was throwing punches with bad intentions. That Anthony Joshua was working off his jab. That Anthony Joshua was jabbing when he was backing up or coming forward. That Anthony Joshua was going to the body. He was mixing up head and body. That Anthony Joshua was sliding, pull countering. That Anthony Joshua was more complete than the so-called more advanced Anthony Joshua. Okay. Worst case scenario is green Anthony Joshua might get overzealous and punch himself out. And I believe all of that came into play where he doesn't trust his stamina, doesn't, trust his endurance. And you heard him. I'm not a 12-round fighter. But you didn't see him just say, fuck it, I'm going for broke and try to get Usyk out of there. He tried to outbox him. Now, when he thought he had him hurt in the 11th round, or was it the 9th round? I think it was the 9th round. He opened up with a flurry. Not that if he catch you slipping that he won't open up. Yeah, it's just he doesn't. The bottom line is this: your opponent is not supposed to make things easy for you, but you have to be willing to go to that next level to do. You know what? I have to do what I have to do. Doesn't it make more sense to come in and put pressure? And even if you get caught, you're throwing back. You're going to make it a dog fight versus trying to outbox a guy, and you can't catch him, and he's beating you to the punch because you're fighting the wrong way and you're taking shots anyway, and losing rounds because these shots, it's apparent that you're getting your head snapped back. So, you understand what I'm saying? Like I said in that video, this version of Anthony Joshua that we have right now, those same guys that he steamrolled back then, he wouldn't fight them the way he fought them then. He'd fight them with being cautious and trying to wait and wait for the right moment. And someone that he should knock out in 2-3 rounds wind up maybe 9th or 10th, maybe get him out of there then. This is what I'm saying. That Anthony Joshua is what he needs to be able to resort back to. And back then, nobody was really saying Fury was better than no damn Anthony Joshua until Fury came back and beat Wilder. And that was the majority of Wilder fans pretty much saying that. So the Max Kellermans and all those guys, Everybody has an opinion. That's all fine. But those guys, their word isn't law. They have opinions just like all of us. I look. I'm in the gym constantly. We work with fighters. I know what we do. I'm in the fucking game. I know what goes on. So it's like a lot of you guys be talking. I'm just like, you're not talking from experience. You're talking from a fucking couch. You're talking from what you think you know. If you was involved, if you was around it, you'd understand it better. Just like you yourself in your day to day life, you make decisions to do certain things, and I'm pretty sure you got family members. Could be your wife, somebody going, I don't understand why you're doing that. If it was me, but they're not in your shoes. But when you do what you set out to do, they'll either embrace you and hey, I'm glad for you, I'm here for you, or they'll envy you and because people don't like to be wrong. So they might hold it inside. They want to see you fall flat on your face because they said that you would, then you didn't. So when it comes to this, you gotta understand a fighter's career is it's that person's career. Your opinion don't mean nothing. For the people saying he should take the fight, he should jump back in it's because they want to see him lose. Tim Bradley was talking about, man, back in the 80s, the 90s, fighters fought everybody. He's talking about an era he didn't even fight in. How they fought 4 or 5 times a year. You never fought no 3, 4, 5 times a year. Then he says, I didn't fight. Yeah, exactly. You didn't. So you're not even talking from experience. You're telling Anthony Joshua he should do something that you never done. So what does that tell you about his opinion? Now, of course, he, get up off your butt, get in that gym and train and get back. You're saying all that, yeah, but he's another one. Andre Ward's another one that say things about Joshua in a derogatory manner. Andre Ward got so disrespectful that here's a guy who never even fought at cruiserweight. Okay? Here's a fucking guy who struggled to beat Kovalev. And when he did beat Kovalev in the rematch, he did a much better job in the rematch. And he won that fight hands down. But here you are telling people you could beat Anthony Joshua. So what is it that they're going to say about AJ that anybody's going to take serious other than people who want to see AJ lose? So for you to sit up here and say what somebody should do, and you yourself have never fought in that era, you never fought 3 or 4 times in 1 year. So and then it's hard. Is okay. Well, why is it easy for him, but it was hard for you? So this is what I mean about people with their opinions and trying to like shit on somebody, not even based on something that they're doing contradicting or something that they're doing that's just flat out wrong. Basically, just in a position where they know if Anthony Joshua lose this fight, talk about he get the credit for getting in. No, fuck, no. Y'all didn't even give him credit for getting in there with Usyk twice. Y'all said they don't think that he should fight Usyk because he ain't gonna win. And then Tim Bradley, to further my point, towards the end of that conversation, said, I don't see anybody fight beating Fury. I don't see no heavyweight, nobody. He's too big and strong, man, too tall, too long. He's just too big. Okay, so bottom line, okay, go ahead and train, get off your butt. It don't matter what you do, you still not gonna win. That's how he see it anyway. So, you gotta look, man. Listen, people say one thing, but then they contradict themselves by saying something else. You're giving an opinion. Okay? Repeating something somebody says one thing, but you're giving your opinion. So if you don't think he'll win regardless, that's the whole point of if he takes it, it's on him, which he did. If he doesn't and he decided he's going to follow his plans out to fine tune and, then it's all good. He doesn't have a belt anymore. So he's not holding up the division for anything. Now, if he does win the fight and then it's a rematch, and let's say he wins the rematch also, guess what you got? Anthony Joshua, Usyk 3. So at the end of the day, what people will grow to know if that happens is, okay, we all saw a change in Anthony Joshua, but at the same time, with that change, he couldn't beat Usyk, but he was able to beat Fury. We still haven't seen, for people that says that Usyk and Fury are the two best, let's remember, we still haven't seen Fury versus Usyk. I don't care about what people's opinions are. Remember, people said that Usyk wasn't going to be able to beat any of the big guys in the heavyweight division. He was too small. He struggled too much with Derek Chisora. And that goes to show you also that, see, they feel like it's the politically correct thing to do by praising Derek Chisora. Why? That's the fight that he had. It wasn't the Witherspoon fight. That was before Chisora. Chisora was his second heavyweight fight. It wasn't the Witherspoon fight. They said Witherspoon was injured, and then he's not that good anyway, so we can't gauge it by him fighting Witherspoon. We got to see him fight an elite guy. So when he fought Chisora, that's when they were saying, "Nah, look at how Derek Chisora had him running all over that ring. He's gonna have a problem with the big guys." Chisora is a big guy. So what are you saying? Chisora is really not that good, man, because he always come up short in fights. So what are you saying? It wasn't until he beat AJ that, oh, yo, Usyk is out of this world. Yo, this dude's skills is crazy. And that's why I said before, well, how is it that his skills are so crazy if he beat a guy like AJ that's overrated according to all of you? Putting on, so that type of stuff is like, this is why I don't like to get caught up with all of this. So that's why a lot of times people, they say things, and I'm like, you think you're right because you're conversating back and forth with people that share your ideas and your ideals. But if you really listen and observe what's going on, you'll see that your thoughts and what you're looking at, the fighters are not looking at it that way. I mean, that's why I look at you guys and I say, if you was training a fighter, would you throw your fighter out there and just have him jumping in the ring with people, even if he's not mentally ready? And if you say yes, you're a piece of shit. And that's why you never will be a fucking trainer, because you guys are speaking like you've been there. You've been there. You understand. You guys have never even sparred with anybody. You've never been punched in the face with 8-ounce gloves. You've never done this shit. And even if you, for a few that might got in the ring and pit pat with the gloves or whatever, you still don't know the business side of things. And this is why when you're saying these things, it's chess moves, man. It's chess moves. It's just like, for example, you guys realize you have people go and visit different gyms. And they'll come in, hey, how you doing, man? Looking good, champ. And they'll conversate with you. And in that conversation, they'll find out things about you. And then, oh, you got a bad shoulder. Oh, man, So, get back, man, and go get rehabilitated. And yeah, man, we want to see you in the ring. We miss you, man. This and this and that. Yeah, man, hey, champ. Yeah, this and that. You looking good, man. Nothing but the best. Get on the phone. Hey, yeah, I just talked to him. And he said he's trying to get a fight, but he just came off an injury. So yeah, man. You said you want to fight in 3 weeks. So yeah, go on social media, start talking shit. Go ahead and do your thing. Talk your shit, man. Call him out. And then make a deal with him. He'll take it, but he got a bad right shoulder. This is what y'all don't realize that shit happens. Now the world may not know about it, but that one guy here heard about it, right? And let's say that one guy even write columns or do something, whatever. Why do you think so many things happen behind the scenes where people don't like each other? A lot of shit happens, and it's like, envy, and they may not really talk about it, but then later on things will come out. Why this person never liked this person and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, trying to catch somebody at the last minute. Look, Kovalev was one of the elite fighters in the sport. There was no real build up at all between Kovalev and Canelo, because this shit came about suddenly. And he only had, I think, 3 weeks to train. Some the real short notice type shit. So I mean, how much pressure and promotion do you put behind a fight like that? And this happens a lot of times. So, when you have a guy like, just coming off 2 back-to-back losses, have a mental breakdown in the ring, and it's a lot of shit that happened. I just recently went through some shit. This is a couple of weeks ago, and I still, the thought of it just takes me out of my, and I gotta, whatever. So you have to really be focused. You have to be, dialed into what you're doing. So people need to understand. It's easy to say things from a distance, but if you understood things, it's just like you may see people doing a certain job. And you, fuck, are they doing this for? Man, I'm trying to get to work. Man, this, you pissed off. Now all of a sudden, you start doing that same job. Now all of a sudden, you like, damn, now I see. Okay. Now you got people reacting to you the same way you're reacting to them. Because now you understand what it is. But from the outside looking in, you thought you knew all the details. Now it all makes sense because you didn't know before. So I don't get caught up in all of that, rah-rah about who said and this one did and this one said that. Bottom line is somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. So between Fury and AJ, same thing, may the best man win. Anthony Joshua needs this win though, and for him to come out, and it goes to show you, okay, Anthony Joshua, I always felt like he said too much. Even like saying he said he doesn't have a problem with the tall guys. It's the shorter fighters. They're hard to figure out. Then he said the same thing about Usyk being a southpaw. You know, then at the end of the fight, with Usyk in the second fight, to say he's not a 12 round fighter, I'm 18 stone and all. Bro, Fury is heavier than you. He's taller, longer than you. You understand? So just to say that shows weakness. And Fury's always talking about he's mentally weak. Constantly. You know how, when a guy says it's just certain fighters that just have another fighter's number? David Hay, Bellew. Bellew just had his number. Bellew was supremely confident he was going to beat David Hay. David Hay thought that he was just, when he hits Bellew's not going to be used to that kind of power. And look at what happened when they fought. Yeah, we know about the Achilles tendon in his first fight and all, but even still, before that happened, that fight wasn't going David Hay's way. So at the end of the day, certain fighters, they just have that guy's number. And it's like, that might be the case with Usyk and with Anthony Joshua. But bottom line is Fury has constantly talked about how mentally weak Anthony Joshua is. So Fury feels like if he starts to turn up in that fight at any point, Anthony Joshua is going to start being afraid to let his hands go. He's going to be unsure of himself. He feels like he's going to be able to beat AJ because AJ is going to fall apart in here. He feels like he's going to make AJ fight the wrong fight. He feels like he can control AJ. He feels as though Anthony Joshua, like he said, on an elite level, he just can't cut it. This is why he want the AJ to fight with Anthony Joshua and not want to let him come in fully prepared. But at the same time, Anthony Joshua just might shock everybody and wind up beating the shit out of Fury. He might knock him out. You don't know. Maybe he wins, maybe he loses. We'll find out. So I'm not into all of this. I don't care about a prediction. I don't care about, like I said, I'm not going to go through a breakdown what AJ needs to do, what Fury needs to do. I think we already know what both guys need to do. But what's going to happen is going to happen. Anyway, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.